So hello friends and welcome to Saturn entering Aries and what this might mean for you, for me and for everybody else. So in this little presentation I want to take you through understanding what has happened previously when Saturn went into Aries, and that'll give us a really good indication of what we can expect this time around. So I have a very short presentation where I want to share information with you, and then at the end of the presentation I will do horoscopes for each sign of the zodiac just for the week ahead, where we are looking at Saturn and Aries, but we're also looking at a couple of other transits that are happening as well to give you an idea on how to navigate the week forward. So as we prepare ourselves, so I am recording this on the 25th of May 2025, and Saturn actually entered Aries on the 24th of May, so yesterday at the time of recording this video. But Saturn is going to be in Aries for quite some time. So if we have a look, so on the 24th of May 2025, Saturn, who is the planet of discipline, the planet of structure, and also the planet of karma, has entered the fiery and assertive sign of Aries. And this particular event ushers in a transformative period of individual and collective growth that will challenge us to embody courage, leadership, as well as innovation. Saturn's stay in Aries will last until June of 2028. Now, there will be a period where Saturn retrogrades back into Pisces before it goes back into Aries as well. But basically, between now and June of 2028, Saturn stays in Aries. So this provides us an opportunity to redefine our personal as well as our societal systems or boundaries, to break free from outdated systems and to cultivate a pioneering spirit. So what lessons can we draw from by looking at what happened previously in previous times when Saturn entered Aries? Because it's not something that happens very often. So the first one I want to take you back to is April 1996 to June 1998. And this was the last time, okay? So besides for now, this was the time before when Saturn moved into Aries. And basically during this 2-year period, the world witnessed a burst of individualism. There was a lot of technological innovation as well as social reforms. So in the late 90s saw a surge of self-expression, particularly in music, in fashion, and in art. Youth-driven subcultures flourished, from grunge to rave scenes, and society explored new ways of identity building. With regards to technological breakthroughs, this period marked the rise of the internet as a household necessity. Companies like Google, who was founded in 1998, so at this time, laid the groundwork for a technological revolution that would forever change how we connect and share information. On a social side, Saturn in Aries brought to attention the leadership and personal responsibilities. The phrase of "be your own boss" gained momentum hugely, and this was reflected in the rise of entrepreneurship and startup culture. Challenges such as global tensions that also escalated as individuals and nations asserted their independence. We had the Kosovo War, for instance, which highlighted themes of sovereignty as well as rebellion. This is all that happened the last time Saturn was in Aries. Now, if we go back even further to the previous time to that, which was November 1967 to March 1970, so the late 60s was another period of significant upheaval. So Saturn in Aries then it fueled social revolutions, civil rights movements to the anti-Vietnam War protests. This was a time of bold leadership, and it was also a time of individuals standing up against oppressive systems. So you already start to get an idea of what we can expect and what we can look forward to this time around. So before we do that, let's just understand Aries and Saturn as two separate individuals or two separate energies, and then let's see how they blend. So looking at Aries on the left. So Aries is known as the bold pioneer. Aries is a cardinal fire. Aries is ruled by Mars. Key traits around Aries would be courage and initiative and independence and passion, as well as impulsiveness. So Aries is the zodiac trailblazer. It represents the beginning of a new cycle, and this sign is energetic, it is assertive, and it is driven to take action. Aries thrives on challenges. Aries seeks independence and often acts before thinking. So this is the archetype of the warrior, the archetype of the pioneer, always looking for the next adventure or the next opportunity to lead. So that's Aries in a nutshell. Now, if we look at Saturn in a nutshell, so Saturn is often referred to as the taskmaster. Saturn's element is earth, fixed earth. Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. The key traits around Saturn would be discipline, responsibility, boundaries, structure, and karma. So Saturn governs time, often known as Father Time. Okay, so Saturn governs time. It governs time, it governs rules, and it governs systems. Saturn teaches lessons through challenges and rewards persistence, hard work, and maturity. Known as the cosmic teacher, Saturn's influence often feels restrictive at first, but ultimately fosters growth and resilience, which is, not bad. So now you have an understanding of Aries and Saturn as two individual energies. Now let's blend them together and get an idea of the fusion of Aries and Saturn together, which brings a dynamic evolution. So when Saturn enters Aries, the blending of these energies creates a powerful dynamic. So Aries' impulsive drive is tempered by Saturn's need for careful planning, and this combination will often foster bold yet calculated actions. Okay? Aries loves to start new ventures, while Saturn ensures that those ventures are built on solid foundations, and together they're going to encourage innovation that will last the test of time. So Aries' natural leadership is refined by Saturn's insistence on accountability. So it's about leading, not just with passion, but also with wisdom and responsibility. So Saturn in Aries challenges us to confront impulsive behaviors. It teaches us to balance our independence with the demands of the collective. And Saturn in Aries will also push individuals to take decisive steps towards their own goals, while also learning about the consequences of their actions. Okay, so what does this mean for us today? We are now 2025. Saturn is going to be in Aries until 2028. So what can we expect now? What is Saturn in Aries going to do for us collectively as well as individually? Because I am going to talk about the individual as well. So on a collective level, Saturn in Aries is going to encourage all of us to step into positions of leadership, but not from the point of authority, not from the authoritarian kind. It's more about leading with authenticity, courage, as well as vision. With Aries pioneering energy, we can expect a wave of technological innovation. Technological advancements, especially with regards to AI, clean energy, as well as space exploration, are going to reshape our world even more so over this next period. As individuals demand autonomy and authenticity, our societal systems may and will come under scrutiny. So activism for personal freedoms and human rights are going to intensify. And needed, necessary. Aries thrives on independence, but Saturn's influence will demand accountability, as we have said. So we'll be asked to confront our impulsiveness and to learn to balance our freedom with responsibility. So how do we survive this? How do we cope? How do we get through this? And I'm still talking as a collective, okay? As a collective energy, how do we actually navigate this? What is advice that we can take around Saturn in Aries? So this is a time to explore your individuality unapologetically. Take risks in expressing yourself, whether that's through a career shift, whether that's through creative pursuits, or lifestyle changes. However, it's important that you ensure that your actions align with a greater purpose. Saturn rewards effort and discipline. So we need to channel Aries' determination into creating something lasting, whether that's a business, whether that's a skill, or whether that's a personal project. Aries rules the head. So watch out for headaches, watch out for stress, and watch out for impulsive actions. Try to incorporate mindfulness and physical activity into your daily routines to maintain balance in your life, because that's, again, Aries and Saturn is all about maintaining balance. And again, whether it be in your personal life, in your workplace, or in your community, it's important that every single one of us step up into a leadership role, but step up with integrity. Set an example by making thoughtful decisions and consider the well-being of others. Saturn in Aries is going to dismantle old structures to make way for new ones. So embrace the shift and to use this period to let go of what no longer serves you. Okay, so how may this influence us personally? So what I'm going to take you through now is looking at your own natal chart. So if you've ever had your own astrology done, if you've ever had your natal chart read, I would suggest you get it out now. Have your natal chart in front of you, and I will help you to look at your natal chart to see where your Saturn is and to see how this is going to influence you. If you've not ever had your natal chart done, get it done, okay? Contact your nearest astrologer and have your natal chart read. All right, so based on your unique natal chart, your birth chart, all right, Saturn's influence will obviously manifest differently for every single person on this planet, depending on your natal chart placements. So if you have Aries placements, in other words, if you are an Aries sun sign, okay, if you have an Aries rising, or if you have a sun, moon, rising, or Mars placements in your chart, so Saturn's transit is going to feel particularly intense for you as it asks you to re-evaluate how you assert yourself in the world. You can expect opportunities for growth in leadership, in personal responsibility, but also challenges to impulsive or reckless tendencies. If Saturn is strong in your chart, in other words, if you have strong Capricorn Aquarius placements which are ruled by Saturn, and again, your astrologer would be able to tell you that, you may find this particular transit rather empowering because Saturn is happy in Capricorn and Aquarius. Saturn thrives in Capricorn and Aquarius because it's at home there, okay? So you will find this particular transit rather empowering as Saturn's influence aligns well with your natural discipline. Aries energy is going to encourage you to step outside of your comfort zone and to embrace the new challenges. So if you have a lot of cardinal placements, so cardinal are the signs of Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn, okay? So if any of those ring a bell that you know you have a lot of that in your chart, Saturn in Aries is going to square, going to oppose, or going to conjunct these placements. In other words, going to aspect these placements somehow. And this is going to prompt significant changes in areas such as your career, such as relationships, and such as personal identity. So this will be a time of hard work and karmic lessons for all of you, but the rewards will absolutely be worth the effort that you're going to go through. Continuing with this, okay, if you have fire sign placements, in other words, if you are Leo or Sag, then this transit also is going to bring harmonious trine. Harmonious trine is again the aspect that it makes, and it's a positive, which means it's going to energize your goals and it's going to offer you opportunities to take bold actions. However, Saturn also will ensure that your ambitions are grounded in reality and you're not off with the fairies. If you have air, water, and earth sign placements, depending on the house that Saturn is in your chart, the themes will vary. So for example, if your Saturn in your natal chart, in your birth chart, if Saturn is sitting in an air sign, in an air house, it's going to challenge your communication and your intellectual pursuits. If Saturn's sitting in a water sign, then emotional resilience and intuition may come under focus for you. And if Saturn's sitting in an earth sign, it's going to push you to redefine material and or professional goals. All right. Continuing. It's important as well, if you've ever been to an astrology, you'll often hear them talk about a Saturn return. So basically, as you can see, if Saturn only hits Aries every however many years it is, you know that means it takes Saturn a very long time to make a full revolution. So when we have a Saturn return, it is when Saturn returns to the position it was at the time of your birth. So this happens every 28, 29 years. And when we go through a Saturn return, it is a huge, I'm going to call it a rite of passage. It's never fun. It's never easy. Often Saturn returns are when we are forced into maturity to grow up, to make big changes in our lives and things like that. So basically, during this phase of Saturn and Aries, if you were born between 1996, 1998, if you were born between 1967, 1970, you will be going through a Saturn return. So you can expect massive, profound shifts. as this is a time of maturity and self-realization. So those of you born between 1996 and 1998, you will be going through your first Saturn return. Astrologers like to think your first Saturn return is when you're actually officially an adult. So those of you born between 1996 and 1998, well done, congratulations, welcome to adulthood. And those of you born 1967, 1970, you are going through your second Saturn return, which is often a lot easier than your first one, but still can be so profound with the changes and the shifts that happen in your life. So yes, if you know what year you were born, you will know whether you fall into, and again, this particular Saturn and Aries, if you're having a Saturn return, it's going to make you even more dynamic and powerful and passionate and really more assertive in the shifts and the changes that happen for you. Okay, so what it is important, practical advice based on your birth chart, on your natal chart. The first thing to do is to check your house placement. So where is Saturn sitting in your chart? So you can go to astro.com, is a website where you can have your natal chart done up for free. As long as you know when you were born, and as long as you know where you were born and what time you were born, you can absolutely do this for free on astro.com, www.astro.com. Or you can consult your local astrologer. So the house that Saturn is in your chart reveals the life area where these themes may unfold for you. So for example, I'm not going to give you all of them, I'm going to give you the main ones, right? So if Saturn is sitting in your first house, this is all about refining your self-image and your approach to life. If Saturn is sitting in your 10th house, this will be huge shifts with regards to career and public identity. 7th house will be lessons in relationship and partnerships at this time. Okay, so ponder this. Saturn in Aries is going to bring a potent mix of challenges and opportunities for us all. It is a time for us to take charge of our destinies. It is a time for us to innovate fearlessly, and it is a time for us to lead with conviction, something that we haven't been doing up until now. So by embracing the lessons of discipline and individuality, we can lay the groundwork for a brighter and more authentic future. As the fire of Aries meets Saturn's stabilizing force, remember, boldness with responsibility will lead to greatness. Put that up on your fridge, put it on your dashboard. Boldness with responsibility is what will lead us to greatness, because these are things that we each need to ponder and to think about all the time. Let this be your guide as we step into this transformative era. So friends, now I want to take you into the individual horoscope. So this week, besides for Saturn's entry into Aries, okay? So for those of you watching this video at any time, because Saturn in Aries is applicable, as I said, up until June 2028. But today, recording this is the 25th of May. So this is the week, Monday, the 26th of May through to Sunday, the 1st of June. So these individual horoscopes are only valid, applicable for that week. So this week, so besides for Saturn's entry into Aries, we also have the moon that moves through Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, and ends the week off in Leo, which makes time feel like a gradual climb towards self-expression. We also have Jupiter that is sitting in Gemini and has a square aspect to Saturn in Aries, which is going to create tension between the expansive ideas of what I've just shared with you and our grounded action, because we're actually not ready to do this yet, even though Saturn's already moved, but we're all resisting. We're all sort of holding on to like, no, but I want to stay in Pisces. I want to stay in Pisces. So it's that shift. Jupiter is saying, come, it's going to be great. It's going to be fun. And the rest of us in our Saturn are going, oh, I don't know about that. So friends, let's explore how these three events, Saturn moving into Aries, what our moon does this week, and Jupiter squaring Saturn. Let's have a look and see how these cosmic energies might shape the week ahead for each sign of the zodiac.